Welcome to the Recap Guys channel. Without any further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So today, I will show you a thriller movie called Trapped. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The film begins with an ordinary office employee named Shaurya, who has a crush on a female colleague named Nuri. He takes the first step by calling Nuri and confessing that he got her number from the office database, but Shaurya is still awkward. Eventually, Shaurya gathers the courage to invite Nuri for dinner, and she accepts the invitation. During their date, Nuri surprises Shaurya by revealing that she is getting married in 2 months due to an arranged marriage. Despite this, Shaurya tries to win Nuri's heart. Days pass, and they finally become a couple. One day, Shaurya invites Nuri to his rented apartment, where his friends are drunk. He then takes her to his room. Suddenly, Nuri remembers her upcoming wedding and Shaurya immediately confesses his desire to marry her, promising to find a home for both of them to build a happy family. Afterward, Shaurya starts looking for a new place to live. However, with only 15,000 rupees, he faces rejection from several sellers. Until one day, a man notices Shaurya's struggle and offers him to stay in a well-facilitated apartment for 3 months with only 15,000 rupees. The apartment is brand new but unoccupied. While taking the elevator, Shaurya inquires about the apartment, and the man informs him that it was completed 2 years ago but has an issue with the land lease, so there is no occupancy certificate yet. Nevertheless, the man assures Shaurya that he will be comfortable living there. Upon reaching the unit, the man struggles to open the door due to a jammed lock, but eventually succeeds with a little push. As they inspect the place, the man assures Shaurya that there is running water, 24/7 electricity, a TV, a refrigerator, and an air conditioner, everything they need. After confirming the amenities, Shaurya pays the man. Shaurya starts packing his belongings and pretends to leave for his friend's rented place, claiming he has some work to attend to that night. He sneaks into his new apartment without the knowledge of the security guard, who is asleep. The next day, he realizes his phone has run out of battery due to a faulty power socket. Then he realized that he was late to meet Nuri, so he quickly brushed his teeth, but it turned out that there was no water in the apartment, so he used a water bottle to brush his teeth. In front of the elevator, Shaurya remembered that his phone was still charging, so he went back in and left his keys in front of the apartment door. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew and accidentally locked the door. Panicked, he tried to turn the keyhole but accidentally broke it. He used pliers to try to move the key, but it didn't work. After kicking the door, he called Nuri, but she didn't answer. He then called a locksmith, but when he wanted to explain the location, his phone ran out of battery. When he charged his phone, the electricity suddenly went out again due to a faulty cable. Unconsciously, his hand got injured from hitting the door. After rinsing the wound with some water, Shaurya screamed for help, but unfortunately, the apartment was on the 35th floor, not close to any other buildings, and there was no one who could hear him. The next day, Shaurya is looking for a way to escape. He got an idea to throw a TV down hoping that the security guard would realize someone was trapped upstairs, but the guard was unaware as he was listening to his favorite radio station. Shaurya took a stack of cardboard and wrote help with his toothpaste as an address, mentioning Sword Apartments, then threw it down. The first attempt, the cardboard fell on top of the tile. The second attempt, with the remains of toothpaste, the cardboard landed on the roof of a building and it was impossible for anyone to come there. Since the toothpaste was used up and the wall paint there had dried, Shaurya took off the bandage on his hand, reopening the wound, and wrote with his blood. Finally, the cardboard fell on someone's house. He saw a woman hanging laundry, but the cardboard was still a bit far from her, so she didn't notice it. In the evening, Shaurya was startled to see a rat in the kitchen. Due to his fear of rats, he panicked and accidentally bumped into the wall, knocking himself unconscious. The next day, when he regained consciousness, Shaurya wanted to send a message again using his blood, and this time, the cardboard fell in front of the security guard, but the guard was engrossed in listening to his radio. Next, he made a slingshot using objects around him. He shot a stone towards the woman, but despite several attempts, his efforts failed. At night, Shaurya tried another way by tearing his clothes and shaping the word help on the iron grill while banging a pot, but no one could see the writing from a distance. Due to thirst and lack of water, Shaurya intended to drink from the toilet, but he abandoned the idea. A few moments later, the guard saw the cardboard thrown by Shaurya, but since he couldn't read, he ignored it. In the afternoon, Shaurya shot a stone again towards the woman, and she finally noticed the cardboard thrown by Shaurya. Thinking that someone was asking for help, the woman approached the location of the apartment. She arrived and asked the guard if anyone lived there. The guard replied that he had been working there for 2 years and currently no one lived there. He then told the woman to leave, but she was unsure, so she sneaked into the apartment. At that moment, Shaurya continued banging on the door. The woman climbed the stairs, but because it was dark and there was no sound coming from there, the woman thought that the apartment was indeed empty and the writing on the cardboard was just a prank. That night, Shaurya burned his clothes and mattress to attract attention, but it backfired as the fire spread inside his unit. He quickly put out the fire. 5 days had passed, and Shaurya was trapped. He started hallucinating, imagining having luxurious meals with Nuri and seeing an explorer who suggested eating cockroaches to survive. Shaurya went searching for food again and once more encountered the rat. Shaurya immediately squealed in fear and could only hide until the next morning. Due to extreme thirst, Shaurya ultimately resorted to drinking his own urine. As a result, he vomited and became very weak. Suddenly, heavy rain poured down. He quickly drank and collected a significant amount of water for his supplies. On the 7th day, Shaurya noticed a bird approaching. Initially, he hesitated to kill it with a slingshot, but eventually decided to do so. As he was about to butcher the bird, Shaurya hesitated once again because of his religious beliefs that forbade him from consuming any animal. However, considering his current survival situation, he reluctantly proceeded and roasted the bird. After placing the bird meat down, he noticed a rat attempting to steal his food. But this time, he was no longer afraid and started chasing the rat. When he caught the rat, he decided to let it live and made it his companion to talk to. The next day, Shaurya noticed a reflection in the mirror that there was a balcony on the 5th floor below him without iron grills. He decided to cut one of the balcony grills to escape and descended 5 floors safely. Although he thought the unit below might not have been opened before, he had no other choice but to try. Shaurya regained his motivation and started cutting the grill with a sharp piece of metal. When he got tired, he took a rest and ate the ants that were there, then continued cutting, aided by fire to make the grill easier to cut. At that moment, Shaurya saw the exhausted rat, so he decided to set it free. The time came for Shaurya to kick the grill. He kept kicking until it finally came off. After that, he slowly descended on the remaining grills. Shaurya couldn't just jump to the balcony he was aiming for, so he used his belt as an additional support to step on the topmost grill. In the midst of hunger, thirst, and exhaustion, Shaurya kept trying not to fall until he reached the unit without grills. He kicked the glass door until it shattered. In a state of exhaustion, he headed towards the exit. Luckily, the door could be opened. He descended the stairs stumbling and finally managed to leave the apartment. He stopped briefly to look at the security guard. They made eye contact, and Shaurya ignored him. Although almost fainting, Shaurya kept walking until his pants started slipping. A few days later, Nuri learned that Shaurya had been hospitalized after the incident, so she came to visit him. There, they didn't speak, just looked at each other, and Shaurya began to realize that Nuri had married the person she was arranged to be with, thinking that Shaurya had already left her. Despite that, Shaurya still hoped to live with Nuri, but Nuri couldn't do it and left Shaurya. After recovering, Shaurya started working at a new company and continued his life as usual. Alongside that, he was disappointed to realize that his friends and colleagues didn't even notice his absence because they were too busy with their own lives. The film ends with Shaurya returning to the apartment and seeing one of the broken grills, reminding him of the events that happened, but he can only keep it as a memory. So what did you think of this movie? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, leave a like and comment to support the channel. Thank you and goodbye.